Good afternoon. It is high noon in my studio. You know what that means? It means it's time for I'm Not Throwing Away My Shot. This is day 8, the next to the last day of my 9-day web series, all about how you can get the secret sauce and discover the secret sauce to becoming an entrepreneur. And you might think, well, I'm not an entrepreneur, but I will tell you this, to get ahead in whatever you do, you need to have an entrepreneurial mindset. So this is day 8 of 9. Tomorrow we wrap it all up, but let's get started and reveal a little bit more of that secret sauce. And again, welcome to day 8 of I'm Not Throwing Away My Shot. My name is Bart, and I'm coming to you from my studio, and I'm just really proud to be part of this and to share this experience with you. Today, I am really excited about what the topic is going to cover. Before we get too far into it, a real quick disclaimer. I do this each time because I am going to introduce you to some people who are millionaires, and I'm going to tell you my story and what I'm creating. And I'm creating all these things because I'm working on me. You see, the underlying part, the underlying piece to everything is a mantra that I live by. If it is to be, it is up to me. There are no guarantees in life. It's what you put into it determines what you get out of it. So what is that secret sauce we've been talking about? Real quick review for the last week. We've talked about mentoring and how important that is. We've talked about coaching and how important that is. But the real secret sauce is modeling. And one of the things I asked you early on, probably about 3 days ago, is what is your PDM? What is that personal defining moment that has occurred in your life? We all have them. Think back to that personal defining moment that occurred in your life. And when you do, here's what I want you to do. I want you to tell us your story. You see, every one of us has a story. And it's when we start to tell that story that we start to reveal to ourselves the secret sauce. That personal defining moment. I shared with you the other day when we talked about the personal defining moments, one of mine was. It's my main PDM, and that was on May 8th, 2015. I was only given a few days left to live. I had always wanted to be a 1%er. That was my goal, but you know, the world, the powers that be, they all have a sense of humor. And unless you're very specific about what you want to achieve, there's all kinds of ways to achieve a goal and say it's done. And I achieved my goal of being a 1%er. Because you see, I realized with only a few days left that I had a very rare congenital heart defect that's found in only 1% of the population. Didn't have much time to think about it. So really what I came to the conclusion was I was okay with everything. Whatever happened, happens, and it happens for a reason. And I move on, whatever that may be. And I remember going into a surgery that morning and thinking, I'm okay with whatever happens. And then about 8-10 hours later, I woke up. And when I woke up, my very first thought was, there's a reason I woke up. I've got to find that reason. And that's part of my story. Here's what I want you to do. Go look in the mirror and look at your future self. I don't care if you're 20 years old, if you're 60 years old, if you're 80 years old, you've got a future self. Who are you going to be in a year, 5 years, 10 years? And then I want you to write that story. I want you to write that story as your future self. Include specific dates, include specific places, include specific people that you're going to be around. Because every one of those is part of what makes you you. And then once you do that, here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about who are people right now that if everything was wide open and possible, they could be the people that help you get to that point to where you tell that story. You see, Jim Rohn teaches, and we've said this every day, that you are the average of the 5 people you most associate with. Now, that's different than your 5 closest friends. So who are the 5 people you most associate with? With the power of technology, with the world in which we live today, this pandemic should be a blessing for you to work on you even harder, even more. So who are the 5 people you most associate with? Well, each one of these 5 people I'm going to share with you, I do personally know. If you ask them, oh, do you know Bart from St. Louis? They'll go, yeah, I know him. You see, I'm modeling what I see in them that I want in me. So the next time that we interact, and it's going to happen soon, they're going to see some of that in me. One of those people is this guy right here, Holton Buggs. Holton Buggs is the CEO of a company I'm affiliated with, I'm a founder with, called iBoomerang. I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment, but that's not the reason I'm on this call with you. It's not to say, hey, you need to join iBoomerang. That's not the purpose here. The purpose here is to show you that because I am part of this community, I have access to people like this 24/7, 365. Does it mean I pick up my phone and call them? No, but I'm on training calls with them. I have a library of videos, a library of podcasts, a library of webinars that I feed my mind with time after time after time. I don't watch television anymore because I'm working harder on myself. Holton Buggs is the most successful person in the history of network marketing. And you think, okay, I don't do MLMs. Good. Don't do MLMs. Don't do network marketing. I can assure you, you do network marketing because last night I learned that one of my very favorite restaurants is closing because of the pandemic. And I'm heartbroken because back when I lived in Austin, that was one of my go-to places to go to. We finally got it in this area and now it's closing. That information I received came via network marketing. I didn't read it. Someone told me. That's what network marketing is. So Holton Buggs has taken that concept and put it on a whole new level. Here's another person. This guy is Mr. Edwin Haynes, the global master ambassador of iBoomerang. Why Edwin Haynes? Because this guy, when you know his story, you see his story, and you ever have the true privilege of meeting him and spending a few moments with him, you will see that this guy absorbs and listens to everything you do and what you're looking to become. And he's there to help guide you along the way. Karen Hirsch here, that's my brother Rudy standing next to me. Karen Hirsch and her husband Peter, who I'll show you in just a moment, they too are 2 people that I just truly admire, study, and learn from. Now, unlike Holton and unlike Mr. Haynes, Edwin, these guys grew up in a rough life, in a project life. They had to overcome some tremendous socioeconomic obstacles to get there. Not that Peter and Karen had it easy, but Karen was the editor of a very prestigious magazine. Peter was an attorney, became a pastor. But now here's what is so amazing about both of these. They know at the heart of everything they do is a philanthropic commitment, which means that's why iBoomerang is purposely called iBoomerang. Because what happens when you toss out a boomerang? It comes back to you. When you toss out goodwill, goodwill comes back to you in equal or greater proportions. If it didn't, if we just threw it out there and it didn't come back, would be called iStick, not iBoomerang. And I don't want to be a stick. I want to be a boomerang so it comes back, because giving out goodwill is how you become a better you. And then last November, I had the real true privilege of being introduced to this guy, Mr. Johnny Wimbrey. See who he's standing next to? Steve Harvey there. He's written a book, From the Hood to Being Good. If you don't have it, go get it. Johnny, Edwin, Peter, all best-selling authors. Another thing I emulate. I too am an author. I too want to see what journey they took, what avenues they took, and get me to that level. Just finished writing my first novel, waiting for it to be critiqued and come out, because this is who I'm associating with and surrounding my people with. But at the base of all this too is you have a cadre of people who call you their family, who love you and support you. This is my New York group. You'll see Peter and Karen Hirsch there with my brother Rudy, God I love him, right there in the middle. But you can see us here. This is just one little piece of a true international family that I've grown to love and be part of. And we're only 18 months old. So that's part of what all of that is. So here's the question I want to ask you. Would you rather write the story or be written about? Would you rather write the story or be written about? That comes from the musical Newsies, one of the lines in Newsies. If you haven't seen the musical Newsies, I would definitely encourage you to see it. It's based on the true story of the newsboy strike and how they took Pulitzer down. But ladies and gentlemen, here's something else that's real powerful about that. You see, when I woke up on May 8th, 2015, and realized I'm on a journey to find the real purpose of my life, I left the roads wide open, and I went looking for whatever the next step provided me. I set no boundaries. I was open to all possibilities. And one of the things I love, as you can tell from my office, is the New York community, the theater community. Why? Because it's people full of passion doing what they love. They're following their passion, fulfilling their purpose. They don't take no for an answer. They know that the next reject, the next no callback is just one step closer to the next yes. Revealed earlier in the week, my favorite four-letter word is next. Something else to always remember. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. That's what these folks do. I had the unique privilege, not only seeing Newsies, but working with these guys. I got to meet them, work with them on a couple of occasions. We're here at an event up in New York together. Why? Because the universe brought us all together. It's called the law of attraction. So here's how and why I can do that. Those things set that foundation for me, but something was still missing in what I was doing. And that something missing was a thing called money, or rather a four-letter word, cash. So next and cash, that's the other four-letter word that was facing me. And I thought, now what am I going to do? And I was part of something that introduced me to Holton Bugs and introduced me to iBoomerang. In fact, when I got involved with it, we weren't even called iBoomerang. We were called To Countdown for Freedom. And there was something intriguing about it. And I'd been studying Holton Bugs, didn't know who he was, had been studying him, had seen a little bit about Mr. Haynes. And I started watching. And here's what he's put together. Another four-letter word called PRIB, the Perpetual Residual Income Builder. It's all based on the concept of the Amazon philosophy. So just like books were the front door to Amazon, travel is our front door. If you click on the categories in Amazon, and whether you're going for pet supplies or electronics or clothing or makeup or whatever it may be from Amazon, even books, those are called verticals. We too have that concept here. We've already introduced our next vertical, which is Vibe, a ride-share, drive-share program that you can learn more about on my website. Then came out Zents. This just happened. It's the world's first no-touch technology that is aromatherapy. Absolutely incredible. We have 3 scents now. We call it Zents. We have eucalyptus, which is the energy, lemon, which is purifying, lavender, which is to help you relax. This is so powerful. This is such a hot thing on the market right now that both Shark Tank and QVC wanted it. But we have it. exclusively. We've already sold over $3 million worth of Zents, and it doesn't even start shipping until the end of October. And then there's Bill Genius. Bill Genius is free. He helps you reduce your bills. He helped me reduce my Sprint T-Mobile bill by $70 and my satellite radio bill by $140. And he's working on my internet cable bill for me right now. You see, when you have a concept like this and you give away the technology for free, you're not selling anything. You're just introducing someone to it like I am to you right now. And then customers come to you and I benefit. When I met Mr. Wembry back in November, and then we got prepared for our big event in February, I walked the stage that day with 500 customers. I was part of the 500 Club, one of the top customer acquisition people in the company. That was February. This is the end of September. The end of February and end of September is what, 7 months? I now have nearly 2,200 customers. Why? Because I started modeling after those people, watching and doing what is there. Mr. Bugs has announced that every quarter, and we got a quarter starting day after tomorrow, every quarter another vertical is going to be released. So I'm going to steal a line from Mr. Wembry. I'm going to ask you this. Do you board the plane when it's on the ground or when it's in the air? You know, that's pretty stupid. Think about it. We're on the ground. We haven't really even taken off yet. We're not even a year old from the day that we opened our doors. We're barely a year old now. Barely 18 months old from when we first revealed our name. We haven't even started to make that climb up with momentum because we're still laying that foundation. But all of that is secondary to what you get when you study and look at what is afforded to you here from the people who know what it takes to become that person. They know the secret sauce. So go out to my website, gogetbart.com, click that enter button. You're going to go through there. You're going to see all the information there. Visit those other pages there too in my website. You'll learn more about me, about the writing I'm doing, this training, the speaking. You'll see the aspiring artists that I have out there that are friends of mine, that are people that I work with on a daily basis, and support them. You know, follow them on Spotify. You know, just check and look around and see, and you'll see the type of culture that we're creating here. And that's what the important piece to all this is to become a person that other people say, hey, I want to be part of what they're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bart. I'm coming to you from my studio office here in St. Louis. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, day 9, as we wrap up. I'm not throwing away my shot. Boom.